Number 7, Legend of Link. Again, this is one that I bet I'm not sure if all you saw this, but I saw a lot of people call this movie one of the best movies of all time. Bullshit. Yeah, but it was just I am one of the few people who just absolutely despised that series and that movie. It's a movie actually. But the basic I understand the budget, and in fact, I completely respect what I call these films, web films. I completely respect them because these are guys going out of their way to make a movie, and they are not making any profit from it either. It's just amazing, in my opinion. But this movie had a very good intro. The opening credits were beautiful. I mean, it really got you into the life and scenery and stuff. And there were a couple scenes that really kicked ass, but they just made it a parody? That's like what you're gonna do with a movie that builds up all that hype? It's like you take it all the way to heaven, and then you drop it down to hell. You fuck up the end games, and that's really not a good way to do a movie. And but the main problems with this movie were too many pointless scenes. They just force a lot of scenes, and they do a lot of them for no reason. Danny Sammons Jr., the director himself, commented on this flaw, and he tried to make a new one called Legend of Link 1.5. That vision never came to life, though, unfortunately. But there were just too many pointless scenes, like the scene with Kaibora Gaibora. It was okay, but it just served no purpose to the story. The Battle at Bandit Ridge, as I like to call it, that scene was awesome, but again, it just served no purpose. A lot of the scenes also with Ganondorf and his minions, like they have this one scene where they're playing Halo. One of the guys beats Ganondorf in the game, and as punishment, he has him play this version of that operation game, whatever the hell it's called, Titan Operation, and he makes it so that he wins, and when he does, he has the guy executed. Like, what the hell was the point of that? And I kind of understand that, like, it was to show what these guys do with their free time, but it just downplays their roles as villains. I'll get to that later. But another thing, the character of Link, you don't really sympathize with him much as a hero. I mean, when he finds all his people and all his friends and family in Kokiri Forest dead, they were killed by Ganondorf. That was a very well done scene. It, like, you can see at first that he is finally realizing his duty as a hero, but then they just fuck that up too. They have him like on news and stuff and doing like totally ridiculous things that he did before, as if that last thing never happened. That was also a huge fuck up. And another thing was the bad guys in this movie. But Drew Perkins, the actor who played Ganondorf, to his credit, he actually tried to make Ganondorf a three-dimensional character, and he was obviously having fun with the role. I kind of had fun watching him, and I give props to you, Drew Perkins. But the main purpose of a villain is he's the obstacle that the hero is supposed to overcome. We want, as an audience, we naturally want him to go down, but we don't. With these guys, we don't really care, and they're not even treating Zelda that badly. In fact, they're treating her like fucking royalty. They're letting her play Halo with them. They're pampering her, and also, I usually don't mind parodies, but yeah, you know a lot of the parodies we've gotten today. Date movie, disaster movie. I never saw Vampires Suck, but I've heard good things about it. I've heard bad things about it. You know, the mixed stuff. This kind of, the jokes were awful. They were just like, for no offense, nerds who live in their mother's basements and can't get laid. And I do not fit that description. By the way, I've had girlfriends, believe it or not. Okay, if you're a girl, like, tell me whether you think I'm cute or something, cause it makes me feel good. Please, alright, okay. Anyway, basically, it just, well, another thing too. Overall, this whole film was just a giant mess, and let me just add two more things in. I know this is sort of nitpicking, but while the fight scenes were pretty good for a budget, particularly those with Bill in it. Bill in this movie is Ganondorf's right-hand man, but usually I would expect a right-hand man to be more Ganondorf's to be more devoted to his duties. He's just like the others, though. He really doesn't like what he's doing. He just seems to be in it because he's got nothing else better to do. And usually a good way to have made him was that he doesn't really have any kind of special loyalty to Ganondorf, but this is like how I would make him. He doesn't have any kind of special loyalty to Ganondorf. He just serves him because he enjoys killing. He enjoys doing what he does, and he's just a sadist, pure and simple. But they just like made him this other geek who just didn't have anything else better to do, and the only real difference from the other guards was that he was a much better fighter. And another thing, the final battle between Link and Ganondorf, that was an exception. The sword choreography was at first pretty good. Ganondorf kills Link pretty quickly, though. He absorbs the Triforce, then he goes after Zelda, but Link gets revived by a fairy, and I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I think it's a really cool reference to the game. But instead of fighting Ganondorf in this all-new epic battle, he just shoots the bastard, and then he slashes his back, making him fall down, and then he stabs him, and Ganondorf's dead. The whole story's over. Yeah, the story ended pretty abruptly too, but it's just Link proved himself to be a great fighter in all those other scenes. Why couldn't he just like prove that he had come all this way and he won fairly in this final battle with like his most formidable opponent? That was just an idiotic way to do it, and a final battle. I know they had cut some budget, but couldn't they have just come back like another day? I mean, it was really half-assed. In fact, this whole movie is half-assed. Say what you want, I just didn't like it. It was a pretty terrible movie, and I didn't like it. Sorry.